Alright, welcome back to a new video, and today is officially fight week 4, the Leigh Wood versus Mauricio Lara fight, which will be for the WBA Super Belt, which was supposed to be the WBA regular belt, but Leo Santa Cruz vacated his Super Belt, which then granted Wood an upgrade from a regular belt to a Super Belt, which means if he loses this fight, he will be 0-1 in championship fights, yet still be a champion. So that's very interesting. Very interesting indeed. But before that, we have to congratulate a new champion, and that is the WBC Super Featherweight champion, which I got wrong. Shakir Foster. Congratulations. Unanimous decision blowout, as most people would say, against Ray Vargas, the 2-division world champion. But then again, I do got to defend myself a little bit here. Deja vu a little bit. A little bit of Freaky Friday, you might say. Because when Vargas fought Magsayo for his WBC belt for the featherweight division, I said to myself, hey, Magsayo did not look that good against Gary Russell. As a matter of fact, I thought he looked kind of awkward and a little weird. And I still chose Magsayo to win because I was like, why not? Magsayo looks like a cool dude. I thought I'm going to back him up. And then he lost. Alright, and then Vargas obviously moved up and fought Shakir Foster. And then in my mind, I thought, well, Vargas didn't do too well against Magsayo, right? Matter of fact, I thought Magsayo won that fight, especially with the knockdown. I thought he solidified his win, but Vargas won anyways. And I was like, oh, I'm still choose Vargas, right? And, probably because I did not do enough research for Foster because he was in the Olympic trials, which I never knew. But I still chose Vargas, and he lost. So what I'm trying to say is, trust your instincts. If you say, oh, this man kind of looked kind of bad in his last fight, maybe you shouldn't choose that guy. But that is irrelevant to the fight of Wood versus Lara, even though the featherweight and super featherweight divisions are healing up quite nicely after the vacancy of the WBO belt and not vacancy of the WBC belt in the featherweight division, and a WBC, WBO, and soon to be IBF super featherweight champion to be crowned. So everything's a-okay. Nothing's bad anymore. But Wood versus Lara, let's get right into it. I don't even know why I wasted your time. But Wood is a 26-2 boxer with 16 knockout wins, and one of his losses coming via knockout. A little telling. And Mauricio Lara, which is 25-2 with one draw. He has 18 wins coming by way of knockout and one loss coming by way of knockout. And he has one draw, courtesy of Josh Warrington. You could probably tell what happened in that fight. We don't really need to go into that. So as you can tell, they both have this literally very similar records in terms of wins, losses, and all that stuff. Both have 28 bouts, 2 losses, one coming via way of knockout. And then their knockouts is very close to each other. One's 16, the other one's 18. The other one has a lot higher percentage because, well, he has one less win and 2 more knockouts. So very obviously why he has a higher percentage. But let's look at their losses. Let's see when they lost and who they lost to. Wood lost in February 2014, to Gavin McDonald, a 10-0 with one draw boxer. He lost TKO. I don't know about you, but me personally, I would never lose to a Gavin McDonald. And then he lost to another dude in 2020. Yeah, very recently, 2020. And by say very recently, I mean literally 4 fights for him ago. He lost to James Dickens, 28-3 boxer, and he lost via majority decision. Once again, me personally, I would never lose to a James Dickens, but then again, that is just me. Then we got Mauricio Lara, who he lost 2015. So actually, I think he might have lost. As a matter of fact, Lara lost second, as he lost in 2015 and Wood lost in 2014. But it was very early on in his career, and by very early on, I mean his first fight against Julio Carbino. 2-2 boxer, lost split decision. And he lost 3 years later to a Elliot Chavez, a 5-1 boxer, where he lost by KO. So we can obviously tell they kind of lost in very similar, fashion, kind of. One in 2020, the other one in 2018, one in 2014, one in 2015. But in terms of the records they lost to, you can very obviously tell who, might have been, better. Because one lost his first fight against a 2-2 boxer. One lost his 12th fight against a 10-0 boxer. Then again, we have to check how many knockouts they had at that point, but then again, who cares? And then he lost later on. But here's the important part. People think Lara might have a chance of knocking Wood out, but here's the thing. Lara lost decision first and then got knocked out, while Wood lost knockout first and then decision. This is what I'm trying to say. I think Wood has better chance of getting off the canvas than Lara, to be honest, because he did fight against Michael Colin in 2022 for the fight of the year or knockout of the year. I am not sure because there's so many awards going on in that time. But against a 16-0 boxer where he got knocked down 3 times, everyone thought, oh, he's done. He's not going to win. He lost so many rounds. And then he came back and they knocked him out. It wasn't like, it might have been a bad stoppage. No, dude fell off the ring. So, yeah, very obviously, very good knockout win. And he's coming off of a 3 knockout streak from his last defeat against James Dickens. And Lara, his last 3 fights, well, it was a tie, but he's also coming off of a 3 knockout streak against Josh Warrington, Emilio Sanchez, and Jose San Martin. So who do I think is going to win? I think, in my professional opinion, which I was literally wrong yesterday, I think Wood takes it. I think Wood has gotten off of the canvas enough time. But here's the most important thing. Wood is 34. Yeah, he's kind of getting a little past his prime is what I'm trying to say. And Lara, which even though he doesn't look like his age, even though you can see some resemblance, he is 24. Yeah, I thought this was 30. Don't tell me why, but yeah, I thought this man is 30. So if anything, Lara can just land a ton of body shots and take out Wood. Is that going to happen? Yeah, that's actually very likely. I think it's a 60-40 match. Me personally, I think Wood's going to win. But I don't think it's going to be a knockout. I think both their knockout streaks are going to end, whether or not they win or lose. I don't think they're going to knock out each other. I think it's going to be a good match. It's probably going to be majority or split decision win for Wood, or similar to with Lara if he wins. So yeah, that's who I got. I got Wood winning, split decision or majority decision. But Lara is the younger fighter. Anything can happen. I can see him winning, but do I think he's going to win? No, I don't think he's going to become a champion this time. I think he might become champion later on. He's still young. There's really no point in rushing it. But it is good that he is attempting to capture titles this young. But yeah, that is the end of the video. And the next video will, of course, be of Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, which may or may not still happen. People are still waiting on buying the pay-per-view because ain't nobody trying to buy pay-per-view and then Tommy Fury does not appear. But you may be saying influencer boxing. Well, I've been doing it for a while now, right? So this is going to stay. Whether you like it or not, influencer boxing is going to stay for at least a year or 2. And not to mention, there's actually a championship fight happening under Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury, and that is Macaboo versus Baju Jack, or as his nickname says, Jack the Ripper. Very interesting name. Me personally, I would never pick a serial killer to be my nickname. I wouldn't be, and here comes Jeffrey Dahmer. Oh, that's not me. Nah, bro, you got me messed up. I ain't doing that. But yeah. Not to mention, March, it's actually going to be a little bit more fights. There's March 4th is going to be Figueroa versus Mark Magsayo. He's coming back. And March 11th will be Tim Tszyu versus Tony Harrison in Australia. Very interesting matchup. And obviously the Benavidez versus Plant happening March 25th. Very good matchups for all of them. But anyways, that is the end of the video. Like I said, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll catch you in the next one.